What's up, everybody? It's Make It Make Sense. And with headlines like this, you know we got to talk about it. TD Jake's ex-son-in-law claims megachurch founder abused him. This may not be what you think it is. Like the video as the intro plays. We got a lot to discuss.
I was listening to Make It Make Sense. Shout out to Make It Make Sense. Thank you for
Make sense, Mims, who a lot.
Make it make sense.
What I love about Mims, Make It Make Sense. He's a YouTuber. He gets the court record, so he gets the cases.
Make it make sense. You know what was up.
You take the top, and I'll take the bottom. Just try it.
Surfer. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense. Tell me how you squeeze it. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things that you say. Make it make sense. Tell me about the things of your dream. Hey, let me work out all the things in between. Make it make sense.
Have been swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up?
Man of God, TD Jakes. Have you ever been swallowed? I would like to this man to talk about dick sucking on the pulpit.
Okay, so before we got to ask ourselves, how did we get here? If you are new to the channel, please subscribe. If you are not new to the channel, definitely hit that like button. So we got to go back. Ever since people found out that TD Jakes and Diddy had a relationship during the height of Diddy's trial, or even before the trial, when the first lawsuits came out about Diddy, people connected TD Jakes to Diddy. After that, and then there was an anonymous email that came out that said TD Jakes was bent over on the motorcycle wearing a pink thong, holding a peach cobbler, which, look, I chose not to report on that. It has been a firestorm. There was a man named Dwayne Youngblood who went on Larry Reid's channel and said that he had been groomed and or violated by TD Jakes. He is the man in the striped shirt on your screen with glasses, looking like he's over it. Of course, you guys know TD Jakes on the opposite side of the screen. And in the middle is Tyrone Blackburn. He's an attorney. I'm sure you guys have heard about him. He took multiple cases very early on with alleged Diddy victims. He also represented the woman who came forward against Nicki Minaj's husband. And at a certain point, he was representing Dwayne Youngblood. TD Jakes came out and said he was going to fight this as best he could with the help of his millions and millions and millions of dollars. He also decided that he wanted to go after Tyrone. That should catch you guys up. But this is where we are at now, and it is incredibly messy. I want to start here. This is between the two attorneys, Tyrone Blackburn and TD Jakes' attorney. They say, Mr. Blackburn, we plan to file a motion for leave to file a reply in response to your late in time response to our August 1st, 2025 fee petition. Your response raises new issues unrelated to the fee petition, such as your new claim that you are in fact a member of the DC Bar and were sworn in by Magistrate Judge Catherine Parker on May 7, 2024. Please let me know by 12 p.m. Eastern tomorrow whether you consent or oppose our motion. Now, one other thing that happened that was incredibly messy was Jake's attorneys said that they believed that Tyrone Blackburn was using ChatGPT to come up with his responses. Let me see if we have the actual verbiage. Facing financial sanction for fabricated citations in his legal filings related to Pastor TD Jakes, to the tune of $76 $76,000, I believe. That's pretty insane. Basically, they said you use ChatGPT, and the judge said, well, how would you like to rectify this? They said, for all of the man hours that we spent determining that ChatGPT was used, we will need him to pay that. So right now, that's the dollar amount, $76,000. So they don't like each other. They also said that the man technically was saying he was part of the DC bar, and he's not. And we're not going to get into all of that because this is ridiculous as is. We're not getting into all of that. But I want you, his responses are always going to be spicy. He responded, "No, I do not consent. I am no longer wasting my time with you or this case. You filed a bar complaint in bad faith, and the court will see that. As an aside, please ask your client, Mr. Jakes, if he and his daughter, Cora Jakes, will be willing to waive service of process for the upcoming lawsuit I will file on behalf of Rich and Brandon Coleman." And I said, well, how do I know? Oh, sorry, you can't see it. How do I know that name? How do I know that name? Oh, that's Cora's. That is T.D. Jakes' daughter, Cora's ex-husband, who was found guilty of, we'll just say, assaulting his stepdaughter, and is currently serving, I believe, somewhere around 20 years in prison. And you might ask, is that normal for Tyrone Blackburn to take up this case when he's angry at T.D. Jakes? That aside, Dwayne Youngblood is also, the man T.D. Jakes is suing, is also a convicted sexual offender, a 2-time convicted sexual offender. So this is all very, very horrible. I'm not even going to use the term messy because we're talking about children who have been violated. It's disgusting. So we have 2 people. Well, we know Youngblood at this point had made allegations about T.D. Jakes. What we did not know was about his ex-son-in-law. So this is where it took a turn, and this is where we're starting off. This, again, is Tyrone Blackburn's response. He says, the retaliatory nature of Dustin Poosh's conduct is self-evident. Its timing followed my filing of several affidavits in defendant's anti-SLAPP motion to dismiss previously filed by the defendant in this case. From countless survivors of plaintiff who all described serious allegations against plaintiff and other members of the clergy and his church who used their positions of power to groom and sexually assault them. These affidavits contain deeply disturbing firsthand accounts of misconduct. They form the basis of defendant's argument that plaintiff is a pariah. Defendant's public allegations against plaintiff were not isolated, but part of a disturbing pattern of depraved grooming and sexual assault. In response, plaintiff's counsel struggled to address the allegations head-on, failing miserably to coherently respond to the men who provided the sworn affidavits. This is extremely ballsy. You are being accused of using ChatGPT in your filings. You have one of the most powerful mega church pastors in the country, maybe even the world, suing your former client, and you double down on the accusations. This is extreme. I mean, but we've seen this multiple times. It says, to further justify his retaliatory abuse of the disciplinary system, plaintiff's counsel now appends to his reply motion an email in which I asked whether he would waive service in the forthcoming civil suit involving plaintiff and his daughter, Cora Jakes. Now, this is why I didn't bring you this story earlier. I really wanted to dig into the meat and potatoes of this and see if anything else had been filed. Additionally, well, I'll let you know later on in this video some of the ex-son-in-law's responses. That email, entirely appropriate in substance and tone, is now being mischaracterized and taken out of context to falsely imply impropriety on my part. Cora Jakes, like her father, has been publicly accused of abusing children. That I did not know. Their church was a haven for immigrant children, yet the parents of several of these kids were deported. The children have been left behind. Upon information and belief, many of them are now missing. What? Tyrone, I don't know if this is the direction you want to go. Who is saying that there are missing immigrant children who were involved with the church or at the church? That is a huge allegation. Child abuse and now missing children. Cora Jakes, in particular, has been accused of manipulating a vulnerable friend who trusted her into giving Cora Jakes custody of their child and engaging in other forms of physical abuse of her adopted daughter. Now, that person they're talking about is Michelle Loud, who has maintained that Cora maneuvered her son out of her custody and has taken her son on as her child. Now, Michelle did come to me a while back, but she was doing a lot of interviews, and can't remember why we didn't get to do our interview. But apparently now a lot of them have been scrubbed from the net. I also went to go see if there was any court cases for Michelle Loud, again, who alleged that Cora had taken her son while she was kind of downtrodden. You couldn't write this. This is so crazy. My inquiry regarding the waiver of service was fully within the bounds of professional correspondence. Mr. Pruse's decision to present it as a threat is both dishonest and defamatory. From the inception of this lawsuit, I informed Mr. Pruse that I am planning to file a class action lawsuit for several male assault survivors against plaintiff T.D. Jakes. Dustin Poosh created Mr. Jakes' present reality by foolishly filing the suit against Mr. Youngblood in hopes of bullying him into signing away his right to speak publicly of the childhood trauma visited upon him by T.D. Jakes. Now, here's the thing. You guys know, now that I'm aware of demand letters, some of it sounds like extortion to me. T.D. Jakes alleges that Tyrone Blackburn and Youngblood had sent him a demand letter for millions of dollars after Youngblood had already done an interview that had hundreds of thousands of views with Larry Reed. So it would be like, what would be the point of me paying you to keep quiet if you've already put the story out there? That was strange to me. Blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, Plaintiff Jakes fails to anticipate the avalanche of survivors who would come forward with evidence of plaintiffs grooming, sexually assaulting, sexting, and transporting them across state lines in violation of the Mann Act. These are some serious allegations, people. One of the accusers is now Mr. Jakes' former son-in-law, Richard Brandon Coleman. Dustin Poosh and T.G. Jakes know that they could never intimidate me from representing Mr. Coleman and other men who have valid claims against Mr. Jakes. Even if Mr. Poosh were able to hinder my law license, which he cannot, I will continue to pursue Plaintiff Jakes, even if all I have is a bullhorn in front of the U.S. Department of Justice. Even if there's no financial recovery in my forthcoming litigations against Mr. Jakes, I do not care. So long as my clients have their day in court, can file their criminal complaints, and their claims are investigated by law enforcement, I will get justice for my clients. Let's go back to that. Let's go back to Richard Brandon Coleman. I had both of his, let me see. Inmate information, just so you guys can see it. I think it's, let me see. Let's see. Inmate information. Here we go. Let's see. Right here. Aggravated sexual assault of a child and indecency with child contact. So those are what he has already been charged with and is serving his time. Charged and convicted, sorry. I was at a loss. I literally, it's not that I'm saying that people who are convicted of, these type of crimes could not have also been, groomed or taken advantage of when they were children, but this feels retaliatory. I'm not even gonna lie. So we have a man serving a prison sentence saying what exactly? That T.D. Jakes, let's go back to the headline. T.D. Jakes' ex-son-in-law claims megachurch founder sexually abused him. I looked, he was also a rapper, not a big catalog, only a few songs. Richard Brandon Coleman, 36, also known by his stage name Sky Ventura, is serving time in a Texas prison for aggravated sexual assault of a child and indecency with a child. Cora Jakes announced her divorce from him in January 2022, shortly before his crimes became public after a decade of marriage and 2 adopted children. Blackburn, who says he is now representing Coleman, made his latest claim in a filing U.S. court. That's what we read. It is part of an ongoing defamation lawsuit Jakes launched against former pastor Dwayne Youngblood and 10 John Does in November of 2024. While Blackburn is no longer serving as attorney for Youngblood, who claims he was sexually assaulted by Jakes decades ago as a teenager, his previous work in the case could face possible sanctions because we went over that. I want to get to his reply. Cora Jakes, in particular, has been accused of manipulating a vulnerable friend who trusted her into giving Cora Jakes custody of their child and engaging in other forms of physical abuse of her adopted daughter. This is not what you expect from probably the most prominent and well-known megachurch pastor's family. And again, some strange things. There's not very many interviews of Michelle Loud out there anymore. Let's see. I want to show you where they reached out for comment and there was no comment from Tyrone Blackburn, but there was a comment from Jake's attorney. Here we go. The only time Mr. Blackburn threatened anything that could be construed as a possible class action lawsuit was back in December when he baldly claimed he was preparing some sort of lawsuit against Bishop Jakes, which of course never materialized. In his most recent threat, he simply said he represents Richard Brandon Coleman and no one else, and has only threatened a lawsuit on Mr. Coleman's behalf. If he is currently planning some sort of class action suit, he has not informed us. As it stands, Bishop Jakes on his legal team are focusing on the only existing lawsuit, the one Bishop Jakes brought against Dwayne Youngblood, which followed a letter Mr. Blackburn sent to Mr. Jakes demanding $6 million and threatened litigation, a letter which Mr. Youngblood now claims he did not know about or authorize. See how messy this is? There is so many twists and turns with this. But to be fair, I tried to find anything. Well, let me start here. It seems like for Texas, you can't really easily get someone's indictment. I can pull up indictments fairly easy from other states, from Pacer. Texas seems to be weird. So I couldn't get the actual indictment of T.D. Jakes' former son-in-law. I did find an interview where his parents were talking to a YouTuber by the name of My Three Daughters. So I listened to hours of this, hoping that they would be able to say, because they kept asserting that their son was innocent. I didn't hear anything that was concrete. Everything was pretty roundabout. And I also wanted to see if I could find anything specifically about Cora. So I'm going to let you hear what they were saying but it doesn't feel very concrete.
From my investigation and discovery with this case, there was a son that did make a statement stating that Brandon didn't do this. There also was a witness who also stated that Cora knew that the daughter was lying. So as grandparents looking in at...
Now, I can't confirm or deny any of this. Like I said, these Texas records are extremely hard to get, but just to say that the alleged victim is lying and not say these are the, like, what I was expecting to hear were these were the charges. There was no DNA evidence. There was no priors. There was, you know, all of these things that would say he was not in the place and time where the alleged acts happened with the stepdaughter. I didn't hear any of that. I heard none of that, y'all. One thing that they kept pressing was about Cora specifically. Let's see.
It was just becoming overwhelming.
Right. When you all found out about Cora needing or wanting or desiring or demanding a extra marital situation, what was your advice to your son?
They made allegations that Cora wanted to bring another woman into the bedroom. Again, I'm not hearing anything about physical abuse of the adopted child. And then lastly,
children from this situation. Michelle Loud needs her kid back. And and Amari's mother, who went to the church to seek asylum, who was deported at the church where she thought she was safe, where she was taking refuge, another child stolen. These are two kids that was taken from them.
Now, you know, I listened to Michelle and I thought that Michelle's stance on what happened with her son, I thought it was compelling. I thought that there was going to be a day in court for her to maybe try to get her son back. But the Amari situation, if Amari's mother was seeking asylum, can we really, like, in order to believe this aspect of the story, you would have to believe that somehow TD Jakes and his family had these children, decided they were going to keep one, and then did what? Called ICE to come and get the daughter and the mother, and then just kept the daughter. Like, I'm not saying anything, these things can't happen, I guess, but if you're going to go and do 5-hour interviews about your son's innocence, then you should go with like concrete facts. This is what was said. Even the abuse allegations, who was abused? Like, there's so many questions. What do I think is going to happen? I think that this will be a very interesting conversation in court. I don't know that there will ever be a lawsuit, to be quite honest with you. Hearing this, not finding anything concrete, who I feel bad for is Cora's two adopted children. One, a little girl who was allegedly assaulted, and a son who allegedly was taken from his mom in a home with a predator. That's who I feel bad for. This is so crazy. This is probably why TD Jakes has decided to go ahead and sit this one out and retire, because this is way too much. Y'all can put in the comments how you feel about this. Do you believe Cora's ex-husband? Do you believe TD Jakes? Are you siding with Tyrone Blackburn? Let me know how you feel in the comments, because this is a lot. This is actually a lot. There's too many twists, too many turns, and it seems like children are being put at risk. And where the hell are these missing children that we need to know everything. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. And I really want to see, how do y'all actually feel about this? Because this is crazy. Y'all have a good day. If you're going out drinking, don't drive. Have a good one. I need a drink after this. Oh, and rest in peace, Roland Ray. Definitely rest in peace, Roland Ray. He was iconic.